All right. So the main thing that we're looking at doing today is setting up a background job to be able to automatically import things into our CRM. Um, so for that, we're going to be setting up Sidekick as the background job worker. We're going to be using Sidekick cron to be able to schedule these because we want these to be kind of continuously being pulled. And then we're also going to be using Sidekick unique job to make sure that we don't try and pull from the same email account at multiple times at the same time. Now, before we jump into that, there's a few updates that did behind the scenes, mostly around style and whatnot. So I'm just going to quickly blast through that. So, all right. So we're here. So one thing that's been changed is if I resize this, this has been just fixed up to work properly in the mobile specifically. I've also done some updates to the form builder so that it handles a few fields and lets us configure things. So this is quite a bit different. So this is actually still a lot based off of the that article that I first went through. So for this, we're doing a little bit of meta programming. So we're just making sure that we do cover all the fields. And I've updated the input method. These are being hard coded based on the name of what you're doing. This now is going to let you override it, so I can specify field type if I want to, but I also can try and look up the type for the actual attribute itself. So this is going to check and see that that attribute exists on the object, and if it does, it's going to try and grab the attribute for the type based on active record. So that's going to be grabbing it straight from the database table. Now, one little quirk here is that if it's an encrypted field, it's going to always show up as a text field. So what this is doing is this cast type is going to get to the, if it's an encrypted field, it's going to get straight into that. And here I am doing a few tweaks, so this is where I can kind of customize things. So if it is a string and the object name is email, then I want to spit out email by default, same for phone number. So yeah, those are a couple of things that we're going to be doing with that. The other thing that I did is I set up, so looking at the navigation was a little bit messed up because a lot of the classes weren't correct. So the menu in here, for example, originally had all of the classes, but the classes changed based on whether it's the mobile or the desktop. I didn't want to have to repeat the links everywhere, so what I did is built a little flex component. So I have a menu in here. Let's see what's going on. Let's show you what's going on here. So in here, I'm rendering that component, and I'm saying this is the main desktop style. Down here, this is the main mobile, or for example, the profile mobile. And with that, it's going to give me these different classes. And that lets me take care of all of those styles. Then looking at the menu itself, I can basically do menu.link2, and that's going to give me the link. And looking here, so with the link to, what I'm just doing is I'm merging in my styles, and then I'm passing along that to the built-in link to helper. So it's a pretty small shim just to let me specify those styles here. And granted, I can do a lot more with this down the road if I need to. I could even do something where I wrap this and do some other stuff, but this is enough for now. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's start setting up Sidekick. All right, so we hop in here and look at the Sidekick documentation. So for this, we can just bundle add Sidekick, which is easy enough. And that's good. One other thing I want to do real quick is in the routes. In here, I want to require Sidekick Web. This is going to let me do some stuff, just check, make sure that it's working correctly. And so for this, I can mount the Sidekick Web. I'm going to do this if rails.env.development. So this will only mount that route actually in the development environment. So if we do that and kill the server because we do the bundle, I can hop in here and go to localhost 3000/sidekick, and that looks like it's all set up. So we're good there. Okay, so we have Sidekick set up, and what we're going to do is kind of follow this for testing things and make sure that we're doing things right. We're going to kind of use their standard setup. So Rails G Sidekick, I think that's job, and their default job that they go into here. Getting started. Okay, so just call this one hard. We're going to use this just to test out some stuff and make sure that's working properly. We'll end up replacing it. Okay, so in here we have hard arg, so we'll just do puts hello from hard job. I just like to do something like this, that way it stands out in the log. Okay, so that's set up. And if we go into the proc file, we're going to want to set up a worker process. This is going to be bundle. So I can type it, bundle exec sidekick. So this will actually run the Sidekick server. So let's kill the server again. And now we have our worker running, so that's great. So if I throw it up in here, I can do Rails C to test this out. And if I do hard job dot perform async, then that worked. Great. So our job is wired up, our process is wired up, so that's all working properly. Okay, so before we get into the sidebar cron, let's just do this for just to test things out. So if I do in here and I go with sleep, I don't know, something like sleep 5 seconds. If I queue a bunch of these, you can see all those ones are being started and now they're being spit out. So we have duplicate jobs here right now, all being queued, which we don't really want. So if this was doing something where, so the idea behind this is long term, we will be setting up a job that starts importing emails. So what's going to happen is we're going to go through, this will be handling one email account. So we're going to load up the email account, start importing emails, and then when we're done, we're going to move on. But that's going to be a single job. A single job is going to be running through a single email account. But if we queue up that job 5 times for the same account, that's gonna be a problem. So what we want to do is not have that happen. So if we do sidekick unique jobs, yep, this here is a tool that will help us to do that. So we've got our sidekick unique job, so we're gonna bundle add that. Okay. So in here, so for our job, we want to be grabbing a few of these options. So we want to lock this until executed. So until this job is done executing, we don't want to be able to queue it again. And we also want to do, so just for showing it, we can do on conflict. We'll just log out the information. I think that should work. We'll see if I remember my stuff right. All right, so we'll bundle install that. We're all good. Let's Rails cin. And this should still do that. So this should queue up. So what I'm expecting here is this will queue immediately. And then if I queue it a second time, it's going to yell at me. And if I then queue it up again after it ends, then we'll be good again. So that is not working. So I think that means that I'm missing the middleware. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to grab basically this whole configuration. Okay, so let's make an initializer for this. So we'll go to initializers. This will be sidekick. So here I don't think that I actually need this Redis. That's already good. So I think that's all I'm going to need. So let's kill this and reload it. All right. So we're booted up. So let's give that a try. Let's try that again. I didn't quite follow. All right, you can see here that when I queue this up, it gives us a already exists. If we look at, if we look down here, so we queued this up one again. It started. Am I getting the right on conflict log though? Let me check. On conflict, yeah, that should be right. Okay. I was expecting this to spit another thing in the log saying that it was skipped. I'll have to, no, I guess I might just be wrong. I do see that it's not happening, so we're good. We're not, so that job did finish, and we're not seeing any second one going in here. And yeah, see, it's skipping the job. So what it's actually checking for when you queue this up is it's looking at the queue that it's in, the class name itself, and the arguments. So in this case, there are no arguments. So it's just really the class name it's kind of locking on. Okay, so this is working the way we want it now. So that's good. Okay, so we can make this something different. So we can say this is the email account import job. Email account import job, and in here we'll have email account ID, and we'll do for just the sake of fun, so we're going to do a sleep in here of 10 and imported emails for email account. All right. So now this actually will be doing something a little bit different. Okay. So that's our email account import job. So we also want a job that's going to trigger all the email account imports. So this will be, I don't know what to call this. This will be the, I don't know, email account cure. I don't know. It's not a great name. We'll see. It's good enough for and we'll rename this to email account importer job spec. Not that we have anything in there right now, but it's good to have it ready to go. All right. So the email account importer cure job takes no arguments. And what we want to do is we want to do email account dot where arrived is nil. And here we just really need to pluck their IDs. Let me refresh myself on that Rails C. So in here we don't actually need the whole object. We just want the IDs of each object. So if we do archived at nil, this is going to give us the whole object. We don't want that. We just want, I believe we should just want the ID. So it's still going to try and get everything. So it's pluck ID. Yeah. So that's actually all we want. So we just can go dot pluck ID and dot each do. So what we actually want to do in here is do an email account import job dot perform async, and that's with the ID being passed in. All right, so actually we'll just do this. Okay, so IDs, grab all the IDs, and then for each one, email perform async. All right, so if we do that, we can do the email account importer cure job dot perform async, and that exploded real good. What is that? Archived at. All right, let's try that again. So we started that, it is done. And I should expect to see import emails for 2, nice. It's done. Perfect. All right, so that is working, and if I run this multiple times, So those are all in here. All right, so here we go. This didn't queue that it's extra time. So we only got that one import. We can see here that we are skipping the job with that ID, and we're skipping this next one here. So those ones are both being skipped, which is exactly what we're looking to do. Cool. All right, so all of that is working as we want. So let's finish that up. Okay, so now we are importing it, we're running it, so that's all good. So the next thing that we need to do is make this so it runs automatically on a schedule. So if we can do another little Sidekick tool to be able to do that. So we can do Sidekick cron. All right. So we can add that. So we can do bundle add Sidekick cron, and this has to be configured a bit. Okay, so I'm going to make in here a schedule.yaml file, and if we look in, where are you? All right, so we give this a name. So we're going to say auto import emails, and the cron for this, we're going to say this runs every minute of every day. We'll probably end up backing that off a little bit. The class is the email account import queuer job, and that's fine. So that's enough to, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be loading that up to schedule this. So we're going to do that using this. So in our initializers for Sidekick, so we're going to be loading up schedule.yaml. If that file exists, then we're going to load that file and load from hash and run those jobs. All right, so let's kill the server, restart the server, and this should now automatically, so try and run those. Job. Where did I? I wonder if I have a dead job floating around in there. All right, I think I just had a dead job here. That's what blew up. Yeah, it's still blowing up on that. What are you blowing up on? Hard job. Yes, let's delete you. Okay. So at 12:10, we did the import for emails too. And we should be expecting then shortly after 12:11, we should be seeing that it will run the imports. The imports again. It's fun watching nothing happen. All right, any moment now. All right, there we go. So it's still choking on that hard job. That's weird. That should be gone for now. I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, so we can see that that worker didn't do that, so that didn't go. And all right, so we have the email import cure is done. Why did this one start? All right, so the cure was started. It queued up this job. Then it was finished. 10 seconds later, this job finished. So we were good. And then her job start is still going at there. Why are you doing that? Let's delete that retry. Let me kill that server, see if it goes away. That is very weird and annoying. Because I don't have that anywhere in my code. Kill it? Is that what I need to do? Maybe I just need to kill it instead. Oh, we'll see. Okay, in the meantime, let's actually make that. So this here, instead of importing it, what we actually want to do is the email account is going to be email account dot find email account ID, and we want to do email email importer dot new email account. I saw an update here. Yeah, that's still going. That's so weird. I don't know. Dot import. And here we probably want to track last process data or something. Something like that. Actually, we probably want to do something like email account dot email imports dot and actually do something like that. I don't know. Don't need to do it right now, so I'm not worried about it, but something to be thinking about just to keep track of it. All right, so email account, it's going to do that and go. So you know what I'm going to do? Hard job .rb Let's just have that go away. All right. All right, so we imported emails and then we're done. So if I go into here and create a new email, so I can go in here, I can do to Jonathan at jbennett.me, auto imported email test, and this was automatically imported. So if I do that, hop over to CRMmy, people, and here. All right, I just got that email on my watch. So in just a moment, that should show up over here as well. Actually, what's interesting with this is that this is a place where I can start doing some stuff with turbo streams to have this automatically show up in here in this activities list without needing to actually do a refresh or anything like that. So your new activity will just come in. We do something like we're already doing for other things where we do that highlight. All right, so that's imported and boom. This is actually functional and it works. Now what I will want to do is probably something where on this schedule, I'm not doing it every minute. Maybe I'm doing it every 5 minutes. It probably doesn't matter too much at this point, but it's something probably to look at playing with. But there you go. So with this, we've set up Sidekick, Sidekick cron, and Sidekick unique jobs. This is making it so that we can automatically run things in the background to pull those jobs in or pull those emails in without having to hit anything and do it. I probably also would want to do some type of a kill switch on the server side. That way, if there's ever a reason, I can just set an environment variable or something like that to kill the processing. Something I have to think about. But yeah, this is kind of the good setup for getting this going and having this be able to process things for you. All right, take care and